Hello, it's me, Zoid, and I'm a electronic music maker, jazz musician, and an educator. And I make YouTube videos about different topics. Today I'm going to basically react to a bunch of music that I haven't had time to listen to recently that some commenters have commented on my videos about. The first one was user Mike Hennebanger, and he was the one who suggested that I listen to I Hate Models, and I, actually did analyze one of the tracks, which I think shows that I was quite impressed enough to analyze it. It wasn't my favorite track that I've done, but I had some good things to say about it. So I hadn't heard of I Hate Models before. It falls short of like a classic track, but that's a really high bar to make a classic track. But anyway, in response to that one, Mike Hennebanger was like, check out these people, some of whom I've never heard of. And so first I'm going to check out those, and then I'm going to check out some other ones that I probably have heard, but at Pads for You commented a few things. But I'll check them out. Okay, right, so here's the first one. We'll go to, well, let's do Deadmau5. Is that how you say it? Deadmau5 or Deadmau5? I really don't know who that is. An American EDM music producer with 1.94 million subscribers. He's really big. So what's this, on his YouTube page? 8th, 1 month ago. So this is a 6-minute track. Well, I'm going to listen to some of this music, not all the way through, just skip through it, and I'm going to just try and say things that I like about it and things that I might not like about it, if anything. So here's the intro sound. Warbling, detuned synth with a lot of high frequencies there. A bit noisy. Okay, the bass comes in there. The bass is good. So far, that's a well-produced sounds. What the notes are doing is not interesting to me. It's easy, it's cliche, it's whatever. Like, I'm probably going to really annoy people by saying this because he's super popular and a lot of people obviously like this, but I wouldn't listen to it myself. I'm always trying to listen to something that is something I haven't heard before. An artist doing something new, something that's just my preference. I like to listen to people being innovative. Like you listen to the new Bogdan Rutinski album, it's stuff you've never heard anyone do before, not even Bogdan. Every time he releases something, it's something new. He's challenging himself. That's Tekra, same. Square Pusher's last album, Dostro Time. These are people who do things on an artistic level, which it's very hard to do that, to like constantly push yourself into doing things that haven't been done before. And that's my preference. Listen to stuff like that. If you want to listen to this, then you listen to this. It's don't like. Okay, so at some point this becomes. There's a period in my life when I would have really liked this, and that period was when I was 15 years old, when I was getting into electronic music. First, I listened to a lot of Goa Trance. It kind of reminds me of that a bit, the drops, the kind of, it doesn't sound like Goa Trance, but it just has a similar kind of arcade machine vibe to it. Like, you know, that Goa, me and my friend Donald, we found a Goa Trance tape somewhere when we were 15, and maybe 14 actually, yes. But anyway, we were like listening to it all the time, and it was like exciting and new, and it had these kind of funny drops in it. They weren't called drops at the time, but it was like, you know, kind of, it was super cheesy. It was like digga 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 doing, doing, like those kind of springs going off of them, that beat coming in. It's funny stuff. But anyway, so like at a period of time, that was important to me to get me listening to, you know, dancey electronic music. And then I kind of went through that and was introduced to techno. And, you know, first the techno sounded weird, and then you're kind of like, your ear becomes accustomed, and then suddenly you're hearing it in a different way, and then you're kind of really locked in the groove of it. And then you go back and listen to the Goa Trance again, you're like, I don't think this is that good actually, you know. So your taste keeps changing. So if I was 14, you know, Deadmau5 might have been absolutely perfect for getting me started into this kind of thing. Is the, you know, it's interesting sounds, engaging, if you haven't heard this stuff before. So what I'm saying is, you know, I'd never, even though I wouldn't choose to listen to this now, he could be, well, he is like an extremely important artist in his own right, who's doing something which it may introduce, you know, millions of people to this type of music, and after which they might graduate on and start listening to the really good stuff like Drexciya and UR and Jeff Mills and Robert Hood. Maybe, you know, it's a gateway. So listen to the... It's very clean. It's like 1,000 times better produced than trance. But, you know, as I say in many of my videos, it's the production of the music is not that important. No, it's not. You can listen to, you know, Beat Me Weird Things, or even Aphex, Richard D. James album. It's not the production that's interesting. It's, you know, the musical ideas that are interesting. Yeah, just not a fan of the sound, of the reverb, of the choice of sounds. Let's move on. So that was Deadmau5. So then we have two other ones that I never heard of before. One is Nto. Is that how you say it? N''to. Softer pad, sine wavy. We have two chords there. We have minor chord and it's like a 1/6 progression. So like, I don't know what key it is, but the D minor, then it would be flat major. Where the root of the minor is the third of the major. Oh, then it's changed, gone up to D minor the first. Back to D minor. Down to 5 again. 1 back to 1. And 6. Ooh, 1 major. Back to A. Back to D minor. I'm just saying as if it's in D minor. I don't know what the is. 4 chord. 5 chord. Okay, so it's like arpeggios are nice sounds, and they're very simple. But, you know, it's not. Timbres are kind of keeping everything engaging. It's good, well made. It's like classical. But I'll get bored now. I'll get bored. Yeah, so the filter's going up. So, played. That's nice. That's like probably like, you know, way more people would listen to that than would listen to anything I make, because it's more organized, it's more easy to listen to, it makes more sense, you know. So well done to whoever made that. Let's see what they say. Yeah, blew me away. That's in French, so I don't know that. Student takes away the pain. Art, romance, tragedy. This piece has it all. See, they love it. They love it. There's no limit to greatness. Yeah. Okay. So, you know, I don't get all of that kind of greatness from this track, because it's just, you know, it's one thing I think about music is, I don't know if you get this, but it's like there's a magic trick when someone makes something great. And say if you were a magician watching other magicians do stuff, if you knew how they did it, you know, you appreciate the act, you appreciate the performance, but, you know, it doesn't thrill you like it does for someone who's listening, or someone who's watching the magic trick who doesn't know how it's done. You know, if you understand how it's being done, you're getting a wider perspective on it, you know, and it doesn't move you as much. And I think music's like that. You know, when I listen to this and I know how it's done, you know, I could, not that I would say that I could come up with that myself, I couldn't, but I see the path that gets traveled to arrive at this. The chords, the sounds, the beats, everything is, I'm not trying to diminish it. I'm just saying, for me, that's why I don't really like get blown away by it. But, you know, if I listen to something like an Aphex track or Drexy or Robert Hood or something like, where it's just, or Keith Jarrett or Charlie Parker, anything that where it's like a complete mystery, Stravinsky, from something that's like, I will never understand how that got created, because of the amount of just that, like, whoa, just incredible. So that's kind of the experience that I'm looking for when I go and listen to music. Okay, that's enough of that one. Or will we just flick it on and see what happens here and see this piece? More of the same, different timbres with the same arpeggios. Good idea, well executed. Enough of that one. Now this one is another one. I never heard this one. Waracles. Is that how you say it? Waracles? And this is an orchestra live at Chateau Le Coste in France. This guy has a whole orchestra. Okay, now that's interesting, because as someone who's made quite a number of attempts to play live with electronic music and real musicians on stage, I know that is extremely difficult to do. So in fact, when I did a master's in Trinity 2006, my piece, it was like a practical kind of a master. So my main project was a piece of music called the 10 Paramis, which was like about an 8-piece band. It was like a, you know, piano, bass, drums, guitar. Was there guitar? No, there wasn't. It was piano, bass, drums, and then it was like 4 or 5 horns. It was like a couple of saxophones, trumpet, trombone. Yeah, maybe that was a 7-piece. It was only 7 or 8 pieces. Anyway, so, and I was on electronics with a Max MSP patch that I was playing the beats off, and we did like a 15-minute piece of music. That was great. I really, yeah. It's somewhere online if you want. Actually, I changed the name to Simarapnet. It's kind of 10 Paramis backwards. But anyway, so it is really technically hard to get a good sound with real musicians and with electronic beats, I know from experience. So so far I'm like, wow, how do they do this? This is like a very well produced performance. French horns, I love French horns. So they're wearing in-ear monitors, they have all proper gear, the sound is really good, the music is so far, you know, like a housey beat with some instrumental stuff on top, and it's good. Crowd pleasing stuff, again, pretty basic. Wow. Okay, but it's very interesting. It's very straight. Like, they're not syncopated. It's quite classical with house music, but it's very impressive. Very impressive. Yeah, see, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, ding, 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 ding. It's just too straight for me to enjoy. Yeah, so kind of 10 out of 10 for production chops there with the producing a concert like that. You know, the rehearsals and the sound, that's a, you know, incredible feat. Well done. Musical ideas, 2 out of 10 for me. Ding, 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 ding. Ding, 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 ding. Well, you know, it's just not rhythmically interesting. If you're going to make electronic music, make it rhythmically interesting, I would say. People should be like really, you know, pissed off with this. See, if I was there, I probably would leave at that point. I'd just be like, yeah, whatever. I don't want to hear that, you know, just, why, just, it just, it's like, it's manipulating your emotions with, you know, feel this way, feel that. It's not like, I don't want to feel that when you play that, you know. I don't know if that makes sense to anyone, but Xenakis, the composer, the Greek composer, I read once, he said that when he hears like a sentimental melody, he just hates it because it's like, he feels he's being manipulated by the music to feel a certain way, and he doesn't like that. And his music, he always did not try to manipulate the listener. You know, if you listen to any of his music, if we have time, we'll put something on. It's, you know, it's just, you don't know what to feel when you hear it. It's like hearing crazy sounds. So I do have a bit of that. Okay, that's enough of that. Okay, now we're on to the what Paths for You had suggested, the Irresistible Force, the full album. This is Mixmaster Morris, a fantastic DJ and music maker. I never listened. This is the kind of music you want to put it on like a Sunday afternoon, a festival or something, and you're walking around and you're having a great time. Great, I'm going to start wrapping up this video, but this album is definitely one that I would like to listen to at some point. The tracks have very different timbres. It's very sample based from the 90s, 1992, very early. Excuse me. Mixmaster Morris, fantastic DJ. First time I ever heard Boards of Canada was he came over to Dublin. He played a few radio sets. He played like something like 12 or 15 hour in one weekend in clubs and on the radio. Me and my friends taped like 3 hours off of the Power FM set that he did. This is about 1990, I don't know, about a year after Music Has the Right to Children came out. Or maybe it was like even before it came out and he had promo or something. But anyway, that was, I mean, it was so much music he played in sets that was just amazing. Like, you know, and we'd listen to those cassettes for years and years and years. That one set that he played. It's mad. Okay, so next we have 3 UR pieces because I did a thing on high-tech jazz, and then, you know, these are also on Galaxy to Galaxy. So I love that, and you know, is it worth comparing? It's probably not worth comparing. It's like apples and oranges to the Deadmau5 track, but like it's basically just a vibe, and you. Spacey techno, those sounds, like you get lost on the dance floor listening to that. Jazzy syncopation. That's, you know, for me, I'm a jazz musician. I like jazz and syncopated music. I love, and Galaxy to Galaxy's got a lot of jazz in it. And Native American chants, so what's not to like? This one's Journey of Dragons. Here we go with the additional programming by Juan Atkins. Good track. Definitely want to go back to and listen to that one. And Star Sailing, the last one. Beautiful sounds. Beautiful pads, beautiful chords. The features here. That's what that sounds like. When that came out, it was futuristic music, and it still sounds futuristic. When was Galaxy to Galaxy? Also 1993 or 4, I think. Galaxy to, wait, no. Galaxy to Galaxy. What is it? You are. What was the year? 1993. Okay. Cool stuff. Yes, I have probably heard those tracks before, but they're worth listening to again. They're classics, brilliant tracks. What do I not like about them? There's nothing I don't like about them. But yeah, maybe that's not really that great. If I was really being objective, maybe I could find something I didn't like about them. I mean, the production sounds a tiny bit dated, but the musical ideas in them makes it like constantly something that's futuristic, in my opinion. But maybe others would disagree. Who would say something bad about Galaxy to Galaxy? Who would dare? Okay, that's enough for me. I'm going to end this video, and I'm going to upload it later on, and please watch it. Okay, see you. Bye.